as I was saying, the 1942 movement was not a movement initiated by Gandhiji. It was a spontaneous uprising by the people in protest against his arrest. It was much more violent than Gandhiji would ever have wished. It is unfortunate that we keep quoting that movement and Gandhiji when we now destroy buses and things like that. Anyway, as I said, we got the independence not only because of Gandhiji's movement, but also because the British were no longer able to hold on to India. They didn't have either the means or the will to do it. But it is unfortunate they left us divided. But one thing is, they left about some 530 states, the princely states, as independent entities in India. Pakistan has perhaps a few, not many. Yeah, my own impression is that they expected India to be a very weak country, divided within itself, with so many religions, because there are a lot of Muslims, Christians still left in India. And apart from them, a hell of a lot of these princely states which have become independent. They thought they will give us a lot of trouble and all that. But Sardar Patel did a great job of integrating all of them by persuasion, by coercion, whatever way. He saw to it that all princely states, including the state of Hyderabad, state of Travancore, which tried to become independent, joined the Indian Union. But he did not touch Kashmir because Kashmir was a matter between India and Pakistan, which means it involved external affairs. So he left it to Nehru to solve that problem. And again, it is unfortunate that we chose an Englishman to be the viceroy even after we got our independence. That was a very great mistake. It was all by hindsight, now we can say it. But he played a lot of mischief. And if today we still have the Kashmir problem unsolved and a matter between India and Pakistan, the blame must go to Lord Mountbatten. He engineered the whole thing that we could have easily confiscated the whole of Kashmir by military action. A chairman of the National Defence Committee or something, who normally should have been chaired by the Prime Minister. For some reason, Nehru gave it to Lord Mountbatten. And that man was not even convening the meeting at the time when it should have been convened. So by delaying decisions, by changing decisions, by using his influence, he made sure that Kashmir remains a festering sore. And that was one of the mistakes we made at the time of independence, that having Britishers both as Viceroy and as Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Army and the Indian Navy. That is where Pakistan had the good fortune of having Jinnah as their Governor General. But unfortunately, he also died within a year. So we got independence. Before independence, I heard almost everybody whom you can name talk about what will happen to India after independence, like Gandhiji, Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, except Sardar Patel. I have heard every one of these directly. They all came to Visakhapatnam sometime or the other and addressed the students. They all promised that within 10 years of independence, we'll all be, the country will be a heaven on earth. We'll solve every problem. There won't be any poverty, there won't be any illiteracy. So, but of course, things have worked out very differently. But that was what we were hoping at the time of independence. That's why we had a great celebration. I was in Madras at the time. I remember going right up to Paris corner in a tram.
Likewise.
The tram was just wading through
Crowds.
thousands of people. What they were doing, everybody was on the road, waiting for the midnight. And at midnight, we became independent. After some time, we came home, very happy, thrilled that we are now here. But I would like to go back a little to an incident in 1942 April. Because my brothers, Pattabhiram and Venkateshwar, they had just finished their final honors exams in Madras and came to Vizag to spend a little time with us. There was an air raid alert. A Japanese plane was flying over Vizag and it dropped a bomb on the Vizag harbor. Immediately there was a exodus from Vizag. But I would like, at the time of the air raid alert, one of the air raid precautions was you sit under a table so that even if the roof falls, it will fall on the table, not on your head. So myself and my two brothers, we were sitting under the table. At the time when a Japanese aircraft was flying over, and I remember very well, what we were discussing there was, will we see India independent during our lifetime? That was what things seemed to be like, endless discussions and debates. We had a Crips mission that come and gone. Nothing happened. Then we had the 42 movement. By then there was no 42 movement there. But this is what I remember very well. Under the table, the three of us, young men, youth. I was about 17 then. They were 19 and 21, something like that. We talked about whether we will see independence in our lifetime. But within 5 years, we were independent. So it came to us very fast, in a very surprising way. And I am sure it had something to do with the Second World War. It exhausted all these fellows. And they could not hang on to their calling. That is why the British gave up their calling, the French gave up their calling. To some extent, that was the reason. Anyway, after the independence, things turned out very differently from what we were told it will be like when we were students. But there have been tremendous improvements. As I have been saying, telling a lot of people. Although I complain that we have not progressed as much as I hope we will, there has been very great progress.